Hello guys and welcome to volokinproject. Today I'm going to do a quick camera test of the Sony Xperia 5 after the Android 10 update. I've got no idea how was the camera before the update because I just got the phone, but that doesn't matter really. At the front we've got an ancient 8 megapixel camera with video stabilization and 1080p maximum resolution. So let's just do a quick sprint over here to see how the stabilization does. In the past you could have chosen the stabilization levels in the older Xperia devices, but not in this one. So yeah, let's have a look at a few selfies and then we're gonna move to the back cameras. Hello guys, it's Tony here. So that was the front-facing camera of the Xperia 5 over here. 8 megapixel unit, definitely a downgrade from the 13 megapixel Xperia XZ3. Maximum video resolution is 1080p, although the stabilization is okay. It's a step down from the previous gen where it offered a 3-way stabilization. Even the one on the Xperia XZ Premium that I recently reviewed had a better stabilization. So I've got no idea what they've done over here, but 8 megapixel is definitely not enough in 2020, and it wasn't enough in 2019 as well, guys, simply because 8 megapixel images look way over sharpened and they kind of look okay on social media, but that's just not good enough for a flagship. So let's move on to the back camera trio. 12 megapixel units over there. Sony IMX563 is the main cam, but who cares? Let's see what they can do. At the back of the Sony Xperia 5 we've got a trio of cameras, 12 megapixel each, one normal, one telephoto, one super wide angle. Now I'm filming in 4K and the stabilization is on. Let's see how it does when we do a short sprint over here. Okay, and now let me quickly check how does the camera perform in terms of switching between the cameras while video recording. That's the telephoto over here, guys. Let me just do a quick sprint over here at the opposite direction. Okay, and now we're gonna test the super wide angle. So I couldn't switch directly from normal mode to super wide angle, unfortunately. You have to start recording a new video, but anyway, 4K is available, which I'm happy about. And let's just quickly test the stabilization just like that, guys. Okay, let's quickly switch to 1080p now. Okay, so that's 1080p from the main camera. A short sprint once again. And now let's move to the telephoto, just like that. Again, a short sprint, guys. And again, that's 1080p 60 fps from the normal camera. A short sprint once again, guys. And then let's move to the telephoto. Alright, let's do it once again. Okay, 1080p 30 fps with a super wide angle camera, guys. Let's just quickly do a short sprint over here. And now I'm going to switch to 60 fps to see what happens. Okay, 1080p 60 fps super wide angle camera, short sprint once again. Alright, West Cliff-on-Sea, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Check this out on the side. Absolutely crazy. I don't want to open my window. No, sir. Woo! Okay, so that was the back camera footage of the Sony Xperia 5 in 4K. The stabilization is not exactly very nice, to be honest with you. I've seen better ones, although it works kind of okay, and it works in all modes as well with all the three cameras. The problem is that the footage is actually in 28 fps max, which makes the footage a little bit choppy. And you could say, yeah, you can use the Cinema Pro application, whatever is pre-installed. Man, that's a difficult application to handle, and over there you have only super wide angle mode and only 24 fps. So if you're thinking that you're gonna shoot a full-length movie on your phone, that's not gonna happen. 1080p 30 fps is surprisingly good on the wide angle and the normal one, but not on the telephoto. And 1080p 60 fps is absolutely phenomenal on the super wide angle. This is my favorite one. And unfortunately, HDR video is kind of broken. I mean, I had HDR video on the Samsung Galaxy S9 for ages pretty much, and it works fine as you expect, but on the Xperia it's a completely different mode, and even your phone can't play it properly. If I try to play it on the computer, there's what I get. So these were the photos with the Xperia 5, and you know, daylight photos are generally quite alright. Actually, that's to be expected from a modern flagship phone. But let's talk about this telephoto camera. The phone software can't really decide when you try to shoot macro which camera to use, the main camera or the telephoto, so you got this kind of back and forth movement, which is not very nice. And the thing is that on the viewfinder the image looks terrible, and once you took the photo and the processing is done, then you realize whether you took a good photo or not. I've never seen any other phone do that, but it seems like Sony can't really figure out which camera to use in which situation. So the telephoto in terms of zoom is okay, it's pretty much on par with the Pixel 4 XL over here, but apart from that it doesn't work well for macro. Now I have to give credit to Sony about the night mode. Man, listen, check this out. Those two photos over here were taken with the Xperia 5 and with the Pixel, and as you can see the Pixel one is blurry and the highlights are overblown on the advertisement board over there, and you can see that the Xperia is absolutely noise free, guys. Amazing job from Sony. I don't know how they managed to beat the Pixel, but you know the Pixel is overhyped anyway, so low light is one of the best, guys. Unfortunately, I cannot say that for the HDR. Now, HDR is available only in manual mode, and even if you go to manual mode and shoot in HDR, it's pretty much the same photo. But if you shoot in normal mode with the super wide angle, the super wide angle actually looks more HDR than the main camera, which doesn't make any sense. But actually I'm quite happy with the wide angle camera. It looks like HDR all the time, pretty much nice and colorful colors. Photos, I mean, of course. So yeah, the main camera, the HDR doesn't work properly, and especially in scenarios where you really need HDR, it doesn't work like it should. For example, I'm gonna compare those two photos. This is from the Xperia 5, and the second photo is from the Smartisan R1, guys, which is somewhere over here on the table. Is it this one? Yeah, the Smartisan R1 over here, guys. So those two photos were taken with those two phones, and you can see how much nicer the Smartisan photo is. And don't get me wrong, Smartisan has never been famous for great cameras, and it absolutely destroys Sony. So they really have to improve on the HDR, guys. And lastly, if you're planning to install Gcam, Sony have always been quite conservative when it comes down to third-party applications. So unfortunately, Gcam, there is only one working version with the Android 10, and actually the photos, the low-light photos, look actually worse than the stock camera application. So in this particular case, no Gcam modifications for you anyways. But don't get me wrong, if you pay £700 for a phone, you shouldn't really expect a third-party application to do a better job from the main one, because you've already paid the company a bag of money so you can have a flagship camera experience over here. And unfortunately, this is not the case with the Xperia 5, and for that matter with the Xperia 1. I know the main sensors have a different Sony IMX moniker at the back, but pretty much the cameras are absolutely the same, guys, which means that both Xperia 5 and Xperia 1 are not holiday recommended. When I review phones, this is my criteria. If I go on holiday, would I take this phone with me? Which means that I need stable footage, I need a good selfie camera, and I need a proper HDR camera to shoot the sea, the sides, or whatever I'm gonna shoot. And unfortunately, the Sony Xperia 5 and the one for that matter fall short, guys. And it's just, not my first, second, or even third choice. If I go on holiday now, I'm gonna get my Oppo Find X or my Huawei Mate 20 Pro with me. Excellent, well, relatively budget devices, ex-flagships, both older than the Sony Xperia 5 and 1, and both destroy them in every single category pretty much, apart from the stabilization of the super wide angle camera in 1080p 60 fps. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much. Don't forget to check both of my reviews of the Sony Xperia 5 and 1 and their relative speaker test comparison to other phones. Thank you very much for watching. That was Tony, your favorite proper real YouTuber of the whole universe. See you later, guys. All the best.